Hey viewers, welcome back. In this video I shall talk about the classification of diuretics, how they are classified, how they are being affected by the drugs, and what are the drugs that included in the diuretics action, and what are the mechanism of action, where they do that, and what are the tonicity of that, is they hypertonic or acetonic. So first of all, there is a classification of diuretics including two main diversities. First one is the that modify salt excretion, and second one is the osmotic diuretic, means that is related to the water and water excretion. These are third one. And in the first, we shall discuss about the first portion, that is a proximal tubule, proximal convoluted tubule also called so. So in this diagram, here is the nephron, that is a functional unit of the kidney, structural and functional unit of the kidney. There are actually million of nephrons in a kidney. There is a, actually if I mark this is a glomerulus, that is a tuft of capillaries, and this is a Bowman's capsule, that is a cup like shape that surrounds this glomerulus, these capillaries. So first of all, we have this. I made a very basic diagram so that you can easily understand. This is the portion from here to here. This is the portion called proximal tubule, proximal convoluted tubule. Here carbonic anhydrase enzyme is present that actually involved in the sodium bicarbonate, and if we use carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, then it will inhibit the reabsorption of the NaHCO3. So in this portion, only carbonic anhydrase inhibitors will be involved, and the prototypical drug of the carbonic anhydrase inhibitors is acetazolamide. And here we can see that there is a filtrate isotonic. Actually, if I mention, this is a cortex and this is medulla. This is the cortex of the kidney, this is the medulla of the kidney. And if we see that here carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, point number 1, they will act there. So here normally the reabsorption of the sodium bicarbonate, sodium chloride and water is done. Actually it means that there are salt transporters and water transporters also. Moving into the next, we have loop of Henle. This is a loop, it is descending loop of Henle, it is ascending loop of Henle. Here is an important tidbit that aquaporins, only aquaporins channels are involved in it. So only water reabsorption will be done here, and there will be hypertonic. I will show the osmolarity of the whole nephron after that classification. So being here, there is a isotonic to the hypertonic flow sheet, means in the at the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, loop diuretics acted, and there are potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium and calcium. Reabsorption will be happening here, and here the loop diuretics will be involved in the inhibition of these transporters, and in this portion the filtrate will become from isotonic to the hypertonic state, isotonic to hypertonic state. So moving into the next, we have a distal convoluted tubule. This is the proximal convoluted tubule, this is the distal convoluted tubule. Here thiazides will be acted. As there are only aquaporins, there will be no water reabsorption. There will be no water reabsorption because there are no water transporters. So in this portion, only sodium chloride will be absorbed and calcium will be reabsorbed by parathyroid hormones. This is the parathyroid hormone PTH. And moving into the next, we have potassium sparing diuretics. Here the conservation of the potassium and hydrogen will be happen, so that with the preserving of the potassium, the blood pressure will be reduced. And moving into the next, we have, this is the cortex, this is the medulla. So here antidiuretic hormone will be acted, that will ensure the reabsorption of the water. And this is the urine moving to the cortical collecting tubules. So moving into the classification, we have proximal convoluted tubule involves carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, for example acetazolamide, that is a prototypical drug of that class. And moving into the next, we have thick ascending limb of the thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle. Here loop diuretics will be acting. Actually these are the most efficient and most vastly used diuretics. And here furosemide, torsemide, bumetanide and ethacrenic acid will be acted. And actually furosemide and ethacrenic acid are the two prototypical drugs of this class. And moving to the next, we have distal convoluted tubule, in which sodium chloride and calcium by the parathyroid hormone reabsorption will be happening. And it involves the thiazide diuretics, for example chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide, and further it involves the chlorthalidone, indapamide, metolazone. And into the next, we have collecting duct and tubule. Here amiloride and spironolactone will be acting. And this is being, it is a potassium sparing, as the name indicates that it preserves the potassium. It can also preserve the hydrogen, so it will lead to the hydrogen concentration increment in the blood. So here we have osmotic diuretic. Osmotic diuretic includes the mannitol. It is the prototypical drug of the osmotic diuretic. If we discuss about it, that if we orally ingested it, orally taken, so it can't be reabsorbed and it will lead to the diarrhea. So it is dangerous to do so. Water excretion involves the collecting duct, because there are a lot of the aquaporins and it is the medulla portion of the kidney. Actually it involves the antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone can be agonisted and can be antagonist. While discussing about the ADH agonist, desmopressin will be acted here. If we discuss about ADH antagonist, conivaptan, this is CONIVAPTN, conivaptan will be acted here. So this is for the all for this video. It is a classification of diuretics, but in the last I shall share about the osmolarity of the whole nephron. Actually if we can see that here is the glomerulus, and in that I have firstly 300 milliosmol per liter of the osmolarity, and then moving into the proximal tubule in the downward direction, moving into the medulla, we have 300, 350, 400 increment in the osmolarity happens, then 400, 600, 800, 1000, and this is the hyperosmotic state. This is the isotonic being the 300, and as we can see that in the upper portion in the cortex there is a low osmolarity. There are 300, then 100, then 300, 300. Okay, then in the outer medulla, outer phase of the medulla involves the hyperosmolarity and increment in the osmolarity, while in the inner medulla there is a lot of the osmolarity. In the loop of Henle downward state we have 1200 osmolarity, and here we have 1200 osmolarity. As it is increased, so the osmolarity will be increased in the direction into the upward direction. So if we can see that here is the NaCl reabsorption, being there are no aquaporins, so there will be no water reabsorption. There are the aquaporins, there are the aquaporins, there are the aquaporins, there will be water reabsorption. There are also aquaporins, but not in the ascending limb of loop Henle. So water reabsorption will be happening here as the water are excreting, so the isotonic state will be happening. as there are no aquaporins, so there will be, as there are no aquaporins, so there will be high osmolarity. Okay, that is for the normal numbers indicate osmolarity in milliosmol per liter. Actually these numbers indicate the milliosmol per liter. So this is for the today's video. Hope so you do like it. So meet you in the next video that will include the proximal tubule. This is a classification of diuretics, then the proximal tubule. Thank you. Peace out.